You're watching live. You're listening to
Episode 50,
sorry,
man's messed it up
episode
already.
50. Episode 50 of Play to the Whistle podcast. Yeah, we're just gonna talk about the football over the weekend, the Euros final, Copa America final as well. I'm joined with Kieran and T. Dot. How you guys doing?
Yeah, man. Good, man. Well, say good. I say that term loosely, but yeah, man, I'm all right. What you saying?
All good, man.
Yeah, I'm
All
good.
good.
I'm good.
So yeah, I think it would probably be best to start with the. Should we start the Copa America as it was the day before,
Yeah, man.
or are we
No,
going
man,
straight
just
into?
do whichever, man. Just do whichever.
Straight. I don't know. It's up to you guys.
Let's get straight into the England thing. So I don't even
Alright,
feel
cool.
like I just feel it. There's no point waiting at it.
Yeah.
Just sitting on it for like.
That's how I'm
15
taking
minutes.
on safety. Let's go. Yeah.
Come.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. So, what was you guys' thoughts on the game? Firstly, Kieran.
Let's come to me first. No, do you know what it was? I was saying to you yesterday, cause like I was, I was supporting England through the game. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was hoping that England was gonna win. Obviously we talked about my allegiances, like in terms of the national teams and whatnot, but
That makes me laugh when you say that, though. You know.
I know it roused me. It roused
How do you have
me,
how do you have allegiances? But go
I've
on.
got
Andy,
allegiance
sorry.
to Jamaica. That's it. But what I'm saying is,
Cuz,
like,
come on, man.
when
But
I
no,
watch
I'll
the
let you
game-
carry on. Sorry.
No, when I watch the game, no. But I think just so that it's everybody knows what my standpoint is, so that when I'm talking about it so objectively, people are like, right, he's just numbed himself to what's happened. I'm not the one that needs to numb myself, fam. Listen, yeah. And said, I see it out there. Man said, you ain't comfortable on your own ends. No, no, it was an Jesse's dead. It was an entertaining game. I said to you, man, anyway, at the beginning, I feel like tactically, Southgate, the first 30 minutes, were amazing. Like, I don't know if it was intentional. It felt like it was like Kyle Walker overlapping. They showed the stats on. I think I was watching on ITV, but it was phenomenal. And Italy didn't have an answer. And I think England needed to get that second goal because Italy were on the ropes. They couldn't string, more than 5 passes together. Like they're all over the place. And obviously it changed. And I think that's where Mancini showed his tactical nous, and he's a manager that's won stuff at club level. Do you know what I mean? He's worked with like big players. He's worked at smaller clubs. And once they took off, I think Immobile and changed Chiesa, that just changed the game. It was almost like they kind of reversed England, if that made sense, because Kane was having a lot of space before, picking up balls. They didn't have an answer for that, and then Italy changed things about, and then England then changed things. And I felt once England went to 4 at the back, it killed everything. Like everyone was playing in positions that they weren't really that strong in that formation. So yeah, it's obviously we'll talk about. I'm sure about the penalties. I'll leave that for one of you, man. But overall, on the balance of play, Italy were the better team over the 120 minutes. I don't think we can deny it. But had England, I think, got another goal early on, I feel like there was no coming back personally. But that was my thoughts. What about you, T. Dot?
Yeah, no, I think in hindsight, the early goal was probably the worst thing that could have happened so early into the game. Because then we know what Southgate's like. He's very negative in certain parts of the team, very defensive, almost parking the bus mentality. And Italy are a team that will break you down eventually, whether it takes them 60 minutes, 70 minutes, 80 minutes, they're going to break you down at some point. And I think I agree, for the first 20 minutes, I'm not going to lie, when the first goal went in and then I saw how we were playing after that, I thought, this is actually coming home. You know what I mean? They're actually going to win this. Yeah, because it was like electrifying football. It was everything that you'd want in the start to a final. But I think for me, playing the 3 centre backs and then it almost was 5 at the back. Do you know what I mean? For the most of the second half, it was just Italy were just controlling everything. But credit to Italy. We've said it on here before. They're the team that has been consistent. They've played the right football. They've played really, really good football with or without Spinazzola. Even last night, didn't have him, but he still played just as effective. And I think I think it's difficult from an England point of view because I don't think we played that bad in that game either. I don't think we played bad, or do you know what I mean? Like there's overreaction on, obviously emotions took over a lot of people yesterday, and there was overreaction. But when you look at it, we didn't actually play that bad. We just were very defensive, and I think that was going to cost us when you play like that for 60, 70 minutes of the game. Then it will come back to haunt you. And I've always said you can't rely on one goal in knockout football. You need that second goal. Probably need 3 against Italy because they are that good going forward. They can get, they can damage teams. But obviously sad. Do you know what I mean? It's gutting when you think about it, because that was what 55 years of waiting on our lifetime. Anyway, for me and Jesse, I'm talking about, we got the allegiance set up proper. But no, I'm messing. But yeah, no, obviously it was gutting because you wanna see the team do well. Do you know what I mean? And it was just, it was heartbreaking, man.
Yeah, I echo most of what you both said. To be honest, I thought the first half an hour was phenomenal. I think it was intentional, because obviously when you play fullbacks in the back three, that they can come out with the ball and they can make runs because they are natural fullbacks. So I think that's always the benefit of having them in there, that they can always step into midfield. And I think, yeah, Kyle Walker did that well yesterday. And to be fair to him, as I think I said on the last, but I think he's just had a very good tournament, to be quite honest. I think it's some of the best football he's played in the England shirt. So I thought he played well, and I thought we played well as a team, and was all over them. They couldn't handle the pace that we was playing at in the first half. But I think where I slightly, not disagree with you lot, but where I slightly see it a bit differently was, I think in the second half, I think it's a bit like similar to what happened to Italy themselves against Spain. I think we got penned in by the way that Italy was playing once he made the changes. I don't think like we wanted to sit back like that. I feel as though the changes and the way they put their authority onto the game, I think made the difference in us like being less, going deeper and deeper back. But I think it's one of them as well. Like what Theo said, I think the team played well. I can't really come on here and like slaughter them or hammer them, because it wasn't a bad performance really. Like we conceded a goal, it was a sloppy goal to concede, but we conceded 2 goals in the whole tournament.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
Like if I came on here and was slaughtering them, it just sounds stupid. And even I think with the team we selected, it's like what I said in the group chat before. Like maybe it's not what we would have all done. But I looked at the team and thought, yeah, they could get a job done. Like, and they nearly did. But yeah, I think once it got to extra time, you could kind of feel like it was always going to go to penalties. And I'm not mad at, like, it's like the Man United one when we was talking about before, Kieran, man. I'm not mad when people miss penalties, in it. It's just a lottery. It happens, innit?
Yeah.
I do think, though, I don't mind the penalty takers. I think Saka maybe shouldn't have taken a penalty, but it's up to Southgate. It was Southgate's decision. Grealish said he would take one, but he obviously chose Saka. But I feel as though if you decided to do that, then you've got to give them a bit more time in the game. If there's any nerves or anything like that, give them a few minutes to get into the game. Maybe even 5 minutes before you brought them on, do you know what I mean? Just to feel a little bit of rhythm, get the nerves out, so they're ready to take their penalties, rather than just coming on just before and then taking a penalty. Your body's not even really warm or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but obviously talking about Italy, they were brilliant. They didn't let the early goal phase them, but they have gradually got themselves into the game. They got stranglehold on the game. They played really well, and it summarised their whole tournament, really, man. Anytime, especially in the knockout phases, they played champagne stuff in their group stage, and they played really good football throughout. But they've been tested in all of their games in the knockout stages, and they've answered every question. And yeah, Bonucci, Chiellini, Jorginho, Spinazzola, they were brilliant the whole tournament. Chiesa's been brilliant in the knockout stages. So, overall, you have to say that they definitely deserve it.
Yeah, I totally echo that. I feel like you look at their squad anyway. They've got some good players in it. Like I think Chiellini was he in the World Cup squad? I feel like,
They didn't make the last World Cup.
No, the 2006 one. Was he part of that squad?
No.
Okay, because I know he made his debut before Saka was born. I think that was floating around on Twitter, which is mad. Man had him by the neck of the shirt. But yeah, I felt in the first 10 they panicked a little bit. You could see they were worried. And what was really weird was Kane. I didn't realize how big he was compared to both of their centre backs, but he was winning all the headers, he was getting about. But I just felt like Italy grew into the game and England stopped doing the things that were working well. And that's why I say when they changed, because it felt like was it who came? Was it Trippier that came off? I felt it was Trippier that came off and Carl
Yeah,
Walker
it came off
then
for
went to right
Saka.
back. Yeah, and Saka came on and he did play well, but I felt like there was a lot of compromising of space, and I just felt like actually, for me personally, the only criticism I'd make of Southgate is that he probably again made his subs a little bit too late, but I
Oh,
understand why.
100%.
And the reason I say understand why he made up late though is because he he's a defender, yeah. So when I watch him play, he's very cautious. But when you watch a lot of defenders managers who were defenders, a lot play that style. So I think the setup was fine. I can understand where if you're all about structure and things like that, you might not want to make too many changes. And when I looked at the bench, I know everybody was saying obviously Foden wasn't on the bench, but you had Grealish and things. But those players you compromise your shape and structure. And for him, that was obviously quite important. So I'm not saying I agree with it. And all of us, we like to see attacking football, the three of us, I think, anyway. So we might have gone with a bit more attacking. But I can understand because you run a risk of getting slapped up. So why would you change your formula? We've only conceded one set piece, a free kick, or two set pieces, basically, the whole tournament.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
So I don't really have any criticism for I feel like Grealish should have come on earlier, but when he came on, no disrespect, but he didn't set the water like, did he? Like he came on, he did well, and maybe he came on too late.
I think that's because it's too late though.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I think, like you were saying before, I agree, especially going back to the penalty stuff. I think how long was Sancho and Rashford on? About 2 minutes, a minute before.
2 minutes.
But it would have been a couple minutes before, but I think the ball stayed in play for quite. But he still left it too late anyway.
Even Grealish coming on was too late, and I think, and I'm not even criticizing anyone because I can't even imagine what it's like to take a penalty in front of thousands of people, 30 million at home and all that. But just put your foot through the flipping ball, man. Like all that, I hate them penalties where it's like the little shimmies and stuff. That just puts me off. It makes me nervous. So for me personally, you can't blame the penalty takers because, like you said, it is a bit of a lottery. But at the same time as well, them kind of shimmies that don't like. Donnarumma's a massive goalkeeper. For me personally, he's a world-class goalkeeper as well. Let's have that right as well. I
think with the shimmy stuff though, I think it's just I think that's just the way that penalties are being taken now. Like I think even Jorginho
didn't do that. Yeah,
Jorginho's
he's brilliant at doing it though.
Bruno does it every week as well. Pogba does it.
They're good. They're good penalty takers though.
Yeah, but I think I'm not criticizing their style of a penalty because a lot of people do that now, innit? And because I don't think it should even be allowed. Like because that stop-start thing. It should be. I think personally, it should be one like clear run to the spot, and you take it.
That's what you should do. Like all this, like.
No, but I mean that as a rule. But if
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, but if they want to take it like that, I don't really have nothing against it.
See why I do care though, because I think had they gone in, I wouldn't really be bothered because they missed. They done all that cute stuff and they missed.
But also, you see the shimmy why they do
missed, though. Another two still got it on target. Yeah, and the keeper dives the wrong way.
Yeah, but
and with the shimmying, like what happened in the semi-final with Jorginho's penalty, because you do that, the goalkeeper moves first, and then you've got the goal to aim at when it works, and which it does most of the time.
But it didn't. Yeah. When it matters in a final, if you're not confident to do that, don't do it. That's my only thing. And it could have been anyone taking that penalty. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't think I don't really care who was taking the penalty. It just happened to be that Rashford done it and he missed. That's simple. Like I don't.
But then you could do devil's advocate and say like he could have took it normal and still hit the post, innit?
So, he could have, but he didn't though. So I couldn't go by what he did. And this is why I'm saying if had he done that and he scored, it would have been amazing. No one would even mention it. They would have said that was brilliant that he done that. He tricked the goalkeeper and all that, but he didn't pull it off. So I think we just have to remember that as well. Like he didn't pull it off.
Yeah.
So
Like I said at the start, me personally anyway, I don't care about like penalty shootouts. So if they've missed them, they've missed them. It happens. Like it's a lottery at the end of the day, innit?
Yeah,
But you know, yeah, that's
I
that's
think
that's just me anyway. Once it gets to that point, anything can happen.
I think with the penalties, I don't know about you two, but when I looked at the body language, you know, they did the huddles before the penalties, and England didn't look like that huddle looked like a
because they were
team.
panicking,
Yeah, they no, I wouldn't say
unorganized.
they were panicking, but they just
They
like when you
were,
saw
man.
the Italy one, like you could see them all bobbing and everything. The England one looked so composed, almost like we we can do this. Italy, the huddle looked like we're gonna win. Do you know what I mean? And then I think the only thing, and it's a bit obviously we know everything that's happened on social media since, and you know after the game with the fans or whatever, but I'm never a fan of short run ups, especially if you're fifth and if you don't look that confident. I find, see, you guys probably know, but goalkeepers quite often will judge a player based where they're going to put the penalty based on their previous, but also they look at their hips and that tells them quite often where they're going to place the shot. So if you're taking a short run up, you can't really change the angle unless you're like a Jorginho where you can stutter and put it the other side. So I think the issue with Saka was he because I don't think he started. I think he ran up, but his run up was so short. It was quite easy to predict that he was going to go that side, and I think that's what the issue was. If he takes a few more steps, kind of like Rashford's one, the keeper went the wrong way because he had no idea. There was the previous he'd gone both sides. Even a run up, he kind of changed the angle. And listen, this is very similar to when John Terry hit the post. Like Chelsea were ahead in that talking about the 2008 Champions League final. You know, Chelsea were ahead and they come back. Rashford is licked the post literally. Like if he puts it a few inches to the right, we're talking about it's coming home today. Do you know what I mean? So
But
I
it's the same
I
thing
don't
with
know.
John Terry, though, isn't it? It's the same thing. If you
No,
can't
no,
do it,
no, I
don't
know.
do it. He shouldn't even be taking a penalty, actually, John Terry. I don't even know why he stepped up to take that penalty.
I know
Don't even bring that back up because
sorry, we're
that's
digressing. But when
yeah.
I looked at the England penalty takers, Harry Kane aside, I think out of all of them, only 2 or 3 of them had taken like one professional penalty in their career. So I can understand why. I don't, again, people were slagging off like the other players, and then they were slagging off Southgate. Look, the order's the order. Like they've decided that he's chosen. He's seen him in training, and I feel that's where a lot of us has made that mistake with Southgate, where we've written him off, and rightly so because his tactics were off in the World Cup. It's been a very easy run the last 2 tournaments, but he's there. He sees the players that he's not going to pick Saka because he's like, oh,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like he's picked him because he's probably tucking in training. He's thinking, yeah,
yeah,
he's my guy. So
yeah,
that's my thoughts on it.
no, and that's what came out. That's what's been said, and he said that. I think he said that in his press conference anyway. That he was the one that decided the order, and he decided the players that were going to take them. It weren't the players that stepped up and said,
Yeah,
"I'll
he said it
take
straight after the
number
game.
1, 2, yeah." And yeah, he picked it, so it's on him. But yeah, man, it's just one of them minutes. Like once you get to penalties, like, anything can happen in it. It's not one that you can really slate like people for and that. And you just only hope your goalkeepers can pull off a few saves, which Pickford did, and then you just hope that the other guys can just stick them in. But you know, and he had a very good game as well, by the way, Jordan Pickford. He was
He's had a
very
good
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
tournament,
yeah.
man. He's had a very
No,
good
yeah, yeah,
tournament.
yeah. He had a very good tournament. Yeah, but I mean, just in that game,
He
he
was
had a very good
impressive
game.
yesterday for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah. So, but
So
yeah, in
what?
terms of the,
Oh,
oh,
go
go
on, go
on,
on. No, go on.
no, go,
I
go.
was gonna say, what happens next because we've got 2 sides of the coin. Because I'm thinking of Germany. You know, like when they hosted the World Cup in was it 2006, and they got to obviously they got close. Then they got close in the World Cup, and eventually they won the World Cup 2014. And they had to get to a few semis and a final or a couple of semis anyway. I think they got to the final in 2008, didn't they, in the Euros? So is this the trajectory England are on? Again, the Southgate question comes up because we all said he has to go, even if they win. Ironically, he got to the final. So, are England enough for next year in the World Cup? Where you're thinking keep the same setup? Maybe if a player comes in form, switch him in, and then it's all good. Or are we thinking there is something fundamentally wrong that needs changing, like drastically? Where are we at with that?
I'd keep him, to be honest. he done better than the last tournament, got us to a final. He's pragmatic, but his pragmatic style worked because we only conceded 2 goals in the whole tournament. And there's nobody else at the moment. Like, there is no one else worthy or viable to go with. And I think you can't really sack a manager after you just got to a final of a tournament and that lost the tournament on penalties. They didn't get slaughtered. Like, they didn't lose 3 or 4-0 in the final, or it weren't disastrous or anything like that. So there's not really a reason to sack him, if I'm being honest. And it was the same with Deschamps for France. Like, when they hosted the Euros, he lost to Portugal in extra time, stayed in the job. Obviously, he won the next tournament, and
He was lucky.
yeah, but he won it. So, and I think your example as well, like, it was 8 years after their semi-final that they won the World Cup in 2014, talking about Germany. And there was a couple semi-finals, there was a final, but yeah, I don't really see nothing wrong with it. All the players like him. He's built a very good togetherness in the squad, great atmosphere. And he's brought a shift into, like, how it is for England at tournaments within the squad and within the country. So, well, to an extent anyway, with the country. But yeah, I'd keep him. That's just me though, personally.
I'd keep him. I'd keep him. I think there was talk. I'm sure someone was just saying before that there's a talk of a 4-year contract. I think that's too long. I'd give him a contract that lasts until the next World Cup, the Qatar World Cup. See how we do there, and then assess it after that. But I think giving him a long contract wouldn't be stupid. It's just it's just a contract. But I think he'd have enough tournaments under his belt to know how far he can push this team, because the squad's brilliant. I think if there was someone ideal and suitable to take over, maybe not now, but in the next after the World Cup, then I definitely want them coming in, because I think the crop of players that we've got is brilliant. It's a brilliant crop of players. Like, even you look at some of the players that were missed out on the tournament that didn't make the squad. They could potentially go to the World Cup and do a job as well. So I think there's definitely players there, and there's something that Southgate is doing right. Like you said, Jesse, the pragmatic styles worked. We were unfortunate not to win yesterday. Like, if we'd won on penalties or won in normal time, we'd all probably be saying Southgate's brilliant and he needs to keep the job and blah, 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 blah. So I think people kind of, like I said before, like, a lot of people had that kind of mad overreaction yesterday of, like, saying we've got to sack him and all of this stuff and blah, blah, blah. But in hindsight, if we'd won, Southgate would have been knighthood and statue would have been in everywhere. So, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's done a really good job. We had an easy run to the final, granted, but at the same time as well, still beat Germany, although it's not the best German team that we've ever seen. Get that. We still beat Denmark, who were quite good. We're quite a good team. And we got to the final.
That's another thing, though. That's another thing I want to touch on now that the tournament's over. All that talk about, like, easy runs and all this stuff, it pisses me off, man, because you can't pick your run. Like, it's a draw, innit?
No, I didn't mean it like that, though.
I'm not talking about you. I wasn't talking about you.
Talking about in general.
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about in general.
Talking about me, like, still. Like, go on.
No, I'm just talking in general. Like, because it's a lottery. Like, we can't pick the side of the draw we're on. We can't pick the teams. We can't, like, tell France to beat Switzerland so that they get to the quarterfinals.
No, you can only beat who's in front of you. That's always the case. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I know, and it annoys me when everyone just goes on and on about the runs and all this stuff, because it's nothing to do with, like, we have no say in that. Like, we just got to beat what's in front of us, get to the next round, do it again.
But you know what people mean by that, though. Like, when they say, you get what people are saying, but I get what you're saying as well.
Because that's all you can do, isn't it? Like, it's like Holland. We can't get Holland to beat Czech Republic and all these things. If all these teams do what they're supposed to do, then the tournament might have had, a harder route. But with what we've done in our performances, I'm happy with them. And like you just said, man, if we won it, no one would be talking about Southgate today and all that stuff. It's like, even the Denmark game, when he brings on Grealish, takes him off and that, no one ain't saying nothing because we won the game. Do you know what I mean? So...
But they're saying it about Henderson, which is weird. He done exactly the same thing, and everyone's criticising him because he brought Henderson on and took him off. But if we'd won, no one would say anything about that.
There we go.
But there's people talking about, because he came on, he didn't play particularly well. Like, he looked like a player that hadn't really played all year, and he took him off because he had no. But then he took him off for the penalty take. So I'd be surprised. It'd be someone I'm thinking doesn't really understand the game. Like it's like criticizing Van Gaal for bringing on Tim Krul at the World Cup when I can't remember which one it was.
That's the problem with like modern day like football fans, that they are quite fickle, and
Yeah,
they don't really understand logic behind certain things. And to be fair, yesterday, like I said, people's emotions would have been out the
right,
window.
high.
They would have been all over the shop. But I understood why he done
which it
that.
was.
Yeah,
Which it was
yeah,
for a lot of disgusting people. But obviously, I know we're
yeah.
gonna obviously speak about all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I mean. Like just to summarize, like I'm happy with the whole tournament, man. And I'm actually, you know what, as well. I think I said it in a group chat, man. But I'm proud of the team, man, because
Oh, 100%,
I
man.
think they've done a great job, man. And like they filled us with like not all of us, but like they're giving us entertainment, togetherness. Like it's been fun to watch all these games with like friends and things like that. And like it's just been a good vibe after we've had like 18 months of this in and out of lockdown, 1 foot in, 1 foot out of it. Like it's good to actually have something to enjoy, because even the Premier League, when it came back, it didn't really give us this feeling. Well, me personally, I couldn't speak for myself, didn't give me that feeling of or the buzz what this has given us. And you know, we've seen fans in the stadium again across Europe. Like we've seen like the Hungary games, yeah, with their fans and how they got behind the team to get them couple of draws that they got. It's good to see all these different moments that we've had in this tournament, man. And for me personally, especially with the England team, I'm proud of that team, man. Like, yeah, I'm proud of them.
Yeah, I think everyone should be like, you know, it was nice because there's no split loyalties. There were so many players from different clubs, obviously different parts of the country. Southgate, you can only really admire the way that he's handled the media, the way that he's handled the squad. I think it's helped. I think, like a lot of people said, there's a couple of egos in the squad, but nothing to the level that we had in that kind of so-called golden generation. And there was a good point that was made today. I can't remember where I read it, but they were saying that a lot of the players are quite socially aware. They said they're quite relatable, and I feel like that quite helped with the fans getting behind them as well. So yeah, like it's a shame. And I know you guys are talking about obviously the run, and I completely agree with you in that. Yeah, you can't pick the, well, unless it's fixed, but you can't pick the draw. You can't pick the results that you get. You can only beat what's in front of you. I think for me, it's just always the last tournament and this tournament was the best chance to win something, because you couldn't really have handpicked better games than what England had. It's not England's fault, but do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this was the best combination of players and games, and it hasn't really been. It's only really been like Belgium, Croatia, and Italy, really. And I just feel with Southgate, yeah, he's probably going to stay. And you're right, there's probably no one else that can come in at this time that can do what he does with the players in terms of like the mental side of it. But you just wonder whether those players are going to hit the ceiling with Southgate. And it seems like every time he comes up against a team that is sort of more tactically aware, I don't even really want to say coach better, but just more tactically aware. So a lot of these men were in the Champions League final, don't forget, and Europa League final. It just fit. I don't know if Southgate's that guy. Like, it doesn't really feel like he's going to be the guy that takes them. You know, if you get a Brazil or Argentina or even like a Spain, or I don't really want to say France, because France are kind of in their own. Well, if they keep Deschamps, you don't know what happened, but you know, they just you just wonder whether this is as good as it's going to get. But that's my only thing with him. Why I wouldn't sack him, but I still don't think he hasn't really shown that he's that guy that can do it. And it's not even really been close. Like Croatia were clear, like they deserved to win that semi last time. Italy yesterday, it could have gone either way, but when you kind of look at the balance of play of the game, like they were better. Do you know what I mean? So that's the only thing that concerns me. And it's another, like, this is a lot of good talent. Like, literally, there's 4 right backs. Imagine the Italian left back isn't even better than the guy that didn't even get into the England team yesterday. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of good players. So that would be my only concern, that hopefully there's a favourable draw, because you worry if there are some tougher teams that come up a bit earlier on. But not really for me to say. Well, I say not for me to say, but yeah, that's just my thoughts anyway.
Yeah, we'd have to see. because the World Cup's next year anyway, so obviously we'll see who qualifies and where we go from there. But yeah, I think if Italy slaughtered us yesterday and we lost 4-4, like 4 or 5-0, then I'd say yeah, like maybe he's out of his depth and all that type of stuff. But his execution and plan nearly worked, and it's just obviously we drew the game, so we didn't even we lost on penalties, so really we didn't even lose the game within we didn't lose a game in the tournament. So but we'll see next. We'll see what happens.
Nice. He just reminds me of Ollie a little bit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he gets results. Like, he punishes the clubs that should be beaten. But when it comes to just a moment where getting the job done, there's still question marks. But it's different. It's a bit different with Southgate because you only get international team for so long, and you only get to work with the players so long.
It's very different.
Yeah, I was going to say
it is. But
Ollie's had a lot of chances.
You know what I mean. The trajectory is the same. The results, it's the same. It's the same pattern though, whether you like it or not. Playing against teams Panama, Tunisia, Denmark, Czech Republic, you should be winning those games really. But when it's a tougher team that you can still beat, there's an issue. That there's definite parallels there. I don't think we can deny that, and that's the question mark, isn't it?
I think with that though, I think with that though,
Villarreal's not a tough team. We lost to Wolves; they're not a tough team. It's a whole different conversation. But
yeah, I was going to say like.
Joke teams
I'm saying the trajectory is the same. He comes up against a team that tactically you can probably still beat with the players you've got, but fails. That's what happened. That's the only reason I'm saying is that's what it reminds me of. I'm not saying it's the same situation. It just reminds me of that. Well, Ollie's probably got the players. It goes back
to what I said though. It goes back to what I think. If say penalty shootout happens, we don't win in normal time. Penalty shootout happens, England win. I don't think anyone could even say that about Southgate though.
Exactly, and that's why for me,
I think if he wins
that's what I'm saying. This result yesterday, I'm not having. I can't get onto him because they lost on penalties. It's not like, if we won a penalty shootout, then we wouldn't even really be having this type of conversation right now.
No, I hear that, but England lost the penalty shootout, and there was an opportunity in the game to have changed things and done things, and he didn't do that. So there was an opportunity that he's missed there, and you can then. That's when questions start to arise about, well, actually, if he'd made those changes or done this, I mean, you man have said it. I'm not making this up. Like, you man have said. So had he done that, brought on Grealish a bit earlier, or introduced Sancho a bit earlier, maybe kept the shape a little bit longer, and you wonder if that's going to happen again because that was the same pattern with the Croatia game. But that's my only question mark about him. Other than that, I thought for the first, to be fair, until Italy scored and until you changed that formation to a back four, it was working fine. I wish he hadn't changed to that back four because I thought that caused so many issues and left England vulnerable. And that's when they started conceding all those set pieces, all those corners, and it became an issue. But you don't know, innit? Like, that's the thing. That's why hindsight's a beautiful thing, innit?
It's true, man. It's true.
Moving on.
Yeah. No. The only thing I wanted to say at the end of that, though, obviously, because I don't think I don't know if we're touching on it, but I do think obviously the racial abuse at the players was a madness. I think.
Yeah, we are touching on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we was, but
no, 100%. We have to.
Yeah.
I think it's mad, but like I've said before, and I know this is kind of our other podcast talk as well, because it's not just a football issue. But I think I'm not shocked anymore. Do you know what I mean? I knew when them penalties were missed. I said the first thing I said. I think I said it in the group chat. Like, it's not. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm not shocked, but it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
It's mad because that must be Beckham, innit? But
sorry.
I knew it was you.
I couldn't get to mute in time.
I knew it was you. No, it's cool. It makes me feel sick to say this because obviously what you just said is the truth. You kind of expect it to happen. You kind of know that these black and mixed race and ethnic minority players are one game away from being racially abused, and that's just sad. It doesn't for all the man of the match level performances Sterling's put in the whole tournament, like Kyle Walker's done the whole tournament, Phillips, Saka, all of these boys, that they were still going to be one game away from this level of abuse. And I think it's disgusting, man. Obviously, I know we all think it's disgusting, and I know I expected it as well, but it still made me feel like absolute rage, man. Like, because it's the same as what we were talking about with the penalty shootout. Like, if we won it, no one would be talking about Southgate's tactics. And if we won this game, none of this racial abuse would have even happened. But like, we shouldn't have to win a game just to not get racially abused. And it's not even just the players. It's like, there was obviously these are all alleged because obviously I know we're live and we can't edit. But a guy got thrown in a river yesterday in Thames. There was another, and these are all black guys. There was another black guy thrown on train tracks yesterday. There was an alleged stabbing of a black fan. And then there's a video obviously going around of the Asian guy in Wembley getting his head kicked in. And this is the side of it that makes me, like, obviously racial abuse on social media is disgusting as well, but like, just like, to be taking out your frustrations on a game over people based on their color is disgusting. And that's the part that makes me think, like, I like to support this team, yeah, but why, like, it just makes you question, like, should you even support this team, and like, should these players even play? Like, and
I was just
loads of
about to
different
say
things.
that though. There's a difference between like supporting the team. So don't forget, you're not just supporting the white players in the team. I'm supporting Sterling, Rashford,
Yeah, of course,
Saka,
yeah.
all of them. So I'm not so. But I get you. I understand what you're saying in terms of by supporting them, you're almost
No, I
supporting
meant
madness as
supporting the
well.
cup. Like, yeah, I support the team, man. But it's like the fans come with the team, and
Not for me, they
I'm
don't.
not.
I don't
Well, they
support.
I
I'm
hear,
not
I hear what
supporting.
both of you are saying.
I'm not
no,
supporting for
no.
every
What?
England fan.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying that fans support a team in it. They come with the team, like, and I don't want to be a part of that. Or it makes me. What happened yesterday makes me not want to be a part of that because I don't want to be associated with that. And it makes you question whether you want to support this team or not anymore. Because if that's going to happen every time we lose a game, then what's the point? And that's
I
why.
hear you, man.
But there's a lot of people that think that though. That's why a lot of people, when you speak to them, well, we kind of said something similar. That's why a lot of people don't want to support like England because they're fed up with that side of it.
It's you know what, it's true. Like I can see why, because it's like anything, like whatever group, sport, non-sport related, there's always going to be a bit of that, isn't there?
Exactly.
But at the same time, though, I guess, I don't know, on a social, moral level, whatever you want to call it, it does make you question it. Because I was watching it yesterday, and when I saw Rashford, I was just thinking, just for a lot of different reasons, please don't miss. Do you know what I mean? Just because I like the guy anyway, I wanted him to score. Then when I saw Sancho, I was like, oh, this 2 in a row could be mad. Then when I saw Saka, my heart sank. And I think that was the same for a lot of people, because when you're watching it, I don't know about you two, because like we said, like, you watching it, I guess, more as fans. I was watching it, I wanted England to win, but at the same time, my first thought was don't miss, because I don't know what's going to happen if you miss, which is, I'm laughing because that is
I felt the same.
it's such a mad situation. It's even like, obviously on the other side of it, we probably won't touch on this, but the domestic violence, we've all seen the stats. I'm thinking, God, I hope England win, because you know what I mean? I don't even really want to go into too much, but it's just, my heart sank, like, and you see him crying, and rather than talking about that side and how it was, and you have a little bit of banter, when Southgate missed and he did the Pizza Hut advert and Stuart Pearce was on, you just lose all of that because of just the reaction. Like, it's and like you said, like, it's not surprising, isn't it? Just you were kind of expecting that anyway. Anything less than an England win was going to be racial abuse, which is a mad conundrum to be in. Not even conundrum. It's not even the right word, but you know what I'm saying. Sorry, T-Dot.
No, I was just waiting for you to finish, man. No, I agree with both of what you're saying, but there's got to be a lot more done, like, in terms of like these. So like I said it earlier. I tweeted earlier. That a lot of these social accounts need to, like, the social platforms need to do more, because it's not even. It's a twofold thing. It's more, obviously, you got the social media side of it, but now people, like you said, Jesse. I heard about the stabbings. There was 12. There was 12 incidents, separate incidents yesterday of people getting stabbed. and
It's a
the
fucking joke, man.
the man that was in the wheelchair, the disabled man, thrown into the River Thames. Them things aren't like. It's just crazy. I honestly, find it very crazy. But I do feel that obviously it's a society issue as well as just a football thing. Because a lot of these people, we probably work with these people. Do you know what I mean? Like, not even to laugh, but like we probably sit next to these people on the train or whatever and work with some of these
At
people.
work, yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, 100%. But I just think as well, a lot of that, like what I was reading on social media, you play a bit of music that you don't own, they can take your whole account off you. If you want a blue tick, you've got to give them the passport, your driver's license. So they can do all that already. They can do a lot more online. They don't do it because, well, yesterday Instagram were getting that many complaints about Saka's the tweets on the comments on the Saka's thing, that they said that there's too much of it, that they can't monitor all of it. So we don't. They
It's
basically
Fucking bollocks.
they didn't care. They basically
It's
didn't
fucking
care that he was getting
it's fucking
how
abused
much
bollocks.
internet
online.
traffic are they getting for that anyway? If they get rid of all
Yeah,
them people
Fucking
anyway,
bollocks.
the half of Instagram will disappear anyway.
yeah. They don't care. They don't care about it. All these companies now doing all these things. They're just doing it because their companies want to be seen to be doing it and pushing their own companies. They don't care. Like, people don't care. Like, something mad has to change. We're live, so I'm gonna keep my views calm. But yeah, it's
But
got to
even
change, man.
but what you've both said is the truth, yeah. What you know what me and Theo, we've spoken about this loads of times about the verification stuff. Well, we all have, innit? But like what you said as well, Kieran, about society, it's the truth. And as at the start of the tournament, when the players decided that they're going to take the knee, they're getting booed and all that, yeah. When the Prime Minister and then the Home Secretary, is she the Home Secretary, Priti Patel? When they
She's a
come out and
dickhead.
say, yeah, she is absolutely, yeah.
That's what
And
she
it
is.
don't even matter if it's live. Fuck that bitch, man. But like, see, when they come out and say they don't
It's
condemn the
okay.
fans booing, they say it's okay to boo them. You're inciting racism. That's what you're doing
For
when you do that.
promoting it, man.
You're
It's
promoting it because
propaganda.
you fully well know, and this is what makes me sick as well with a lot of the people that do it. Yeah, they 100% know, yeah, with their chests that these players are not doing this for political reasons. They're doing it because they're sick and tired of getting racially abused, isn't it? That's why. And look, it doesn't matter what any of us think of them taking the knee. That's just the thing that they decided to do in it. Yeah. We know why they're doing it. So you coming out and saying it's okay to boo it, you're inciting this racism. Then they're both coming out today trying to condemn the racism abuse, like the racist abuse. But you was the ones that were telling people that it's okay to boo them. So what do you think's going to happen in the end? So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a society thing. And when they went from the top and they come out and say things like that, yeah, then of course everyone at the bottom, not in terms of financial, but in terms of power, are going to behave that way. And then
Yeah,
even you got
you're
like,
spot on.
even you got people like Gary Neville as well, yeah. And he comes out and he and you know he condemns it and all that as well, yeah. But then he was also the same person saying, you know, you can't slag people off for taking penalties and missing them. But then he done the same thing, done a 40-minute rant on Pogba for missing a penalty. I know this is digressing a bit because that was a completely different
No,
situation.
it's not. It's not
But
because
it's
they
the
did it in
same,
this Euros as well. Pogba,
yeah.
why is he
So
dancing after celebrating?
well,
That's what
there
they
we go.
spoke about when
So
France got knocked out.
and
It's
then
the
they
same
know
shit.
by talking about these things at length here with passion, it's going to incite people to be racist. They know that they do. They can't. And then when the racism happens, it's like, oh, racism, like, oh yeah, we got to
Where's that
condemn
come
it. But
from?
then
Yeah.
where's it come from? Oh, we got to stop it. But then you're saying, oh, don't boo. Like you can
That's why
boo.
I'm not
It's like
shocked.
it's full of
That's why
shit,
I'm
man.
not shocked. It still happens, and in a way, it kind of annoys me that when people are shocked that it's happened.
No,
Like,
no, I'm not shocked. I don't think
no,
anyone's
not
shocked.
you, not you. No, they are,
Yeah, I know
because
what you're saying.
if you
Yeah,
go on
this
Twitter, people are like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is still happening." This, how can you not, after
2021.
all this, to 2-3 years that you've just lived through, especially through like the COVID years, how can people still be shocked that these things are happening? If anything, the last 3 years has taught me just, boy, I can't even say it with life, but
Just
yeah,
expect it. Yeah.
yeah,
That
not
train
even
is
that.
never late.
No, not even that. I'm just not shocked when I
Yeah.
see it. When I saw that he missed a penalty, I already knew what was coming. I knew what was coming, and it's sad that I think like that. I shouldn't have to think, oh, he's going to get abused for that. Because if
Yeah,
Harry
I
Kane
did. You
misses
know
a
what?
penalty,
I DM'd them as
he
well.
ain't getting it.
I DM'd them players. I'm not even gonna lie. I'll say it on the air as well. I DM'd all of them, the ones that missed the penalties. I don't even care. They're not even gonna see it. But I just said, look, I'm proud of you, lot, man. Keep your
Yeah,
heads up
support it.
and like,
100.
yeah, like try and like, you know, keep your heads down and not heads down, but like try and be positive through it. Doesn't matter. It's just a penalty. Like you've done the nation proud in it. I DM them because
they need that
like
though, you know. They do
yeah,
read that. I'm not saying they're gonna read your one
respond.
but they see that definitely, and they said anyway.
Because they're gonna their DMs and their comments is gonna be full of monkey emojis and all that stuff. When in reality, some of us should be like drop them a call, like
they need to do a Thierry Henry, man. Just come off socials. Like I said it before a couple of months ago, man. I don't know why people have got socials accounts. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have them. They should have the right, like everyone else, to have a social account. But if I'm a footballer, I'm not having them. I'm not having them. I know some of them have to do it for branding and all of that stuff, and a lot of them, their management team look after it and all that. But my head isn't mentally screwed on like some of these footballers, because I'd hunt people down and punch them up.
Do you know what? Yeah, I should laugh because
no, like Ollie McBurney,
I'm the same. Exactly, and that's what happens though, and that's the thing. Then people are going to condemn him, but in reality, it's like how much he's supposed to take of this stuff. But I agree with what you just said, Tito. Like, if I was a player, I wouldn't have it either, because for the exact same reasons you just said, my head is not fully screwed on for this kind of stuff, and I'm just not on it. So I just wouldn't have it.
There's one thing that I saw earlier. I think it was either what's his name, Coach Westcott on Twitter. And he was saying about the thing, and I agree with this. I think we need to stop this nonsense of separating fans and people that do the racist abuse. They are fans. Like let's just stop separating it. They go to the game. They know football. They know the offside rule. They know. They're fans. So
that's mad. Anyone who says that is mad.
Yeah, when they say it's a minority and it's just fans, but then they're
fans,
not fans.
They're fans.
No.
Do you know who does that? It's the people that want to always distance themselves from these
people.
Yeah, they want to distance themselves from this situation because they will do the thing. Well, I'm not doing it, and so it's okay. 100. Kind of, they got that kind of attitude.
Yeah, they have, man.
So they don't want to tackle the issue. Like they just want to
skim over it, brush it under the carpet.
What you just said, T-Dot, before, they just want to tick boxes like the companies do. People are the same. They would be like, oh, yeah, it's really bad, blah blah. Then they're posting their pot noodles in the next clip, or they're talking about their what they had for lunch. No, yeah, because it's like, oh, let me take this box. Let me put out a post to say I said let's fight racism or say it's wrong. Then they're talking about what they're doing or whatever they're watching on Netflix or whatever. They don't really care. They're not bothered by it. Because that's why I DM them boys. Because I was like, if I feel like this, and I'm not the player in particular that missed the penalty. If I feel this pissed off or this upset about it, what do they feel like? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100.
And that's the thing.
What they need to do is just go away, switch off their phone, get on a holiday wherever they can. I don't know where if and can, or where they can get to, or just switch off from football for a minute, and then just get their heads back together.
Yeah, and I think I've said that about loads of players in different situations. When we speak about Werner, I said the same thing, and I think after a constant, practically 12 months of football, a lot of these guys just should have a well-deserved break and switch their phones off, stay away from social media, and enjoy their time and have fun, man.
Do you know what's mad? I 100% agree with both of you, but
you shouldn't have to come off socials, but
No. Do you know how hard that is? Like, can you imagine? Like, just even us now, no football for 2 weeks, no social media and remember, we're obviously, you man got kids, we're all working, all of that. So we totally didn't need to do that, but it's a sad state of affairs. I know, you obviously need to get away and take a break, but obviously these man love it. Like they're on the way to games playing Football Manager. Like football is literally their life. So I hear what you're saying, but I can imagine I was thinking about earlier, when you have something like this happen, but particularly for the boys that obviously are getting all the racial abuse, and it's kind of like, I've never broken a bone before, but I can imagine it's like breaking a leg, So you break your leg, and obviously it's painful and all of that, and then you have the right support, you heal up, things are getting a bit better. You can go and start doing the things that you used to do. But you still remember the time when you broke your leg. Every time you go to the place where you break your leg, it still hurts you. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's still there. The scars there. There's a constant memory. And it's kind of like the same with these players that get the abuse. It'll make them stronger, but they're still gonna have that memory there. That trauma is still gonna be there when they had all of that. It's gonna affect them. Like, and
And don't forget as well, yeah. The one thing that we have touched on it already, yeah. But they've got to deal with the pain of losing a final as well. So the pain of losing a final on top of that abuse as well, it's crazy.
Yeah, personally, if it's me, I'd have to switch off mentally. I'd have to switch off on football and just society. Like, just I'd have to switch off. I think even if you're not a footballer and you're just a regular guy like us three, you gotta take them breaks from social media anyway. But I
yeah,
take breaks from people. Like, you might not hear from me from like a couple of days. I just switch off from everything, and then you just come back to it. And sometimes you need that. And I get what you're saying, though, Kieran, about like it's kind of like ingrained in them to just be football, football, football. But that like Jesse said
it's
as
not
well,
healthy.
some of these players have been playing for pretty much 2 seasons back to back, haven't really had a break. Obviously, they might have had the COVID, what was it, when there was the first kind of lockdown and that restart before the restart of the league, but they haven't had a proper break. And yeah, like it's sad, man. They shouldn't have to come off socials. They shouldn't have to switch off all the time, and definitely shouldn't be getting any abuse, whether that's racial or not. Like, we
But
might banter about
they
like
need to, innit?
yeah, we might banter about like a Werner, like you said, about missing, or when Torres, I remember Torres missing at Old Trafford, we bantered that. That's just, there's a difference between banter and messing up someone's mental state. Like, it's nuts. And then racially abusing them as well. It's nuts. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's different. Yeah, as you just hit the nail on the head there, TikTok, because even like the United fans might have like taken the mick out of Lukaku's touch, or might have laughed at some of the misses and things like that. But I never once thought, okay, let me go and slide in his DMs and just say, "You fucking this," and all of that. Like, it's all crazy. Do you know
Gotta
what I
be
mean?
an angry person to be on that way.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully they all deserve a well-earned break, and obviously they should switch off from it. They all done well. They should all be proud of themselves. They worked extremely hard the whole tournament, and they nearly delivered. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have a bad thing to say about them. But even just to lastly touch on the fans, not even just the racism, yeah, like their behaviour in general, like, and not all the fans, obviously not generalising, but you know, like jumping on buses and like, you know,
Storming the
breaking
stadium.
into Wembley. Things like storming into the stadium after we just seen what happened with United Liverpool. So you know that like they could have potentially had the final cancelled or rescheduled for today or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Because of storming the state, like they get too excited, they get too on it. They don't know how to just like really enjoy a moment. They always have to. Some fans always have to go over the top and spoil it. Yeah. And then that's why in reality, when you think of it, like with UEFA and FIFA, obviously, look, I know they're both corrupt here, but that's probably why it's so hard for us to host these tournaments, because of the way our fans behave.
Yeah, we're not getting 2030. That's for
No,
sure.
we're
Anyway,
not. We're not getting 25. Of course not. We're not going to get it. Not if they behave like that. No. And then we've lost the game, and then you're fighting in the stadium and all that stuff. You know.
Yeah. It's mad. Best placed countries probably to host, and anyway,
Best
that feels like
stadium,
a stay tuned episode for real.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Yeah, you saying we're touching on the Copa America.
Yeah, you can briefly, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously,
I'll be honest. I'll start off quickly because I'm just going to be totally honest. As I said in the group chat, stayed up for it, yeah. And I've done the baby boy thing in it, and I've watched the whole first half, yeah, and fell asleep and woke up to the Argentina fans jumping
lifting the
around,
trophy.
yeah, singing that Messi song.
Like...
Yeah, that was it, and I was like, raw. But
Like,
so I'll be honest, and I'll just start off because I know you lot watched the game. First 45 minutes, I thought it was a really good game. Loads of mad tackles. It was proper physical, but I liked it. It was physical and good. I think the balance was just right. And some good football was played on both sides. And I think, you know, Di Maria played really well. I like the left back Acuna. He had a good game in the first half. And I thought I liked Lo Celso again in the first half. So, and Di Maria's goal was a great strike, man. Brilliant strike. So in the first half. So that's just me being honest. So, no, I can't lie to the people, man. That was it. I fell asleep, man.
Yeah,
I
no,
was
do you know
tired.
what?
So.
It was a good game from what I remember because I was like you, I was tired, and I did fall asleep in bits, but no, I thought it was a good game. I thought it was a typical kind of South American game, if that's the right way of saying that. But had everything like the tackles are flying in, and I can't remember. I've lost count of how many bookings there was. I'm sure there's about at
Yeah.
least 9 or
Listen,
10.
there was. I remember this as well because I'm still on Twitter. I think there was 13 fouls in the first 18 minutes.
Yeah,
It was a
he
mess. I
was
think
set up for
It
that
was
was
a
win,
it
man.
Fred?
mess.
Was it Fred that got booked
Is-
after like 3 minutes?
Second minute with a
Is that
mad
all?
tackle.
It should have been more than that.
It was the third minute, and he could have got a red. It was slightly. It could have been a
Yeah,
red
it was a
because it was
bad
like
Yeah,
tackle
it was
still.
it was middle of the shin, and he was arguing. I'm thinking, bro, you was arguing that tackle. You're lucky to win a pitch. But
yeah. Look,
yeah, the tackling was
mad.
crazy. But you could
Yeah,
tell that they
but
obviously
I
the
think,
two countries don't like each other in it. So
yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I think for me as well, um, from a Messi perspective, it was good to see him finally get like a trophy because a lot of people, including me, some at points have said obviously that for him to be, he's world class. No one's not denying that, but it's good to see that he's actually got a trophy internationally to go with that now. Do you know what I'm saying? Whether it's just Copa
mm.
America, obviously some people still say,
no,
well,
it's
it's
a
not a
big
World Cup
trophy.
and it's that.
Yeah.
No, it's a
Yeah,
big
it's a
trophy
massive.
because
Yeah, it is.
it's like us
That's
winning
what
the
I'm saying.
Euros. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I'm saying. It's still a massive major trophy. So I think
yeah.
people still have to give him his credit for that. Um, I don't know, man. I did think Brazil were gonna win before the kickoff. I did still think that slightly. Obviously, my boy Richarlison was playing.
I was
I know
just
Jesse was about to
wait.
say something. I knew he was gonna say that.
Wait,
That's why I
listen,
got in there
listen, yeah.
first. That's why
Wait.
I got
So
in there
obviously
first.
in the first half, yeah. So he's taken a touch in the box, yeah. I can't remember
Yeah,
who
no, I
fizzed it
can't.
into him. It's a great pass. Fizzed it
Yeah,
into him, and his touch was just, it took him away from
no,
goal.
I can't
I'm
defend
thinking
him. I'm
like
not defending
this
him.
guy,
I'm not
man.
defending him.
Oh
I'm not defending him in
yeah.
that one. But I thought Brazil was set up to probably win that game for me personally. I still think obviously Argentina had a good squad out there, but um, yeah, man, I think credit to Argentina. They played well, like you mentioned the players like Lo Celso that you mentioned as well. They played well. They played well, but
There's another
obviously,
thing I've got to admit. There's one more thing I've got to admit, or two more things, but um, obviously, firstly, it was brilliant to see how the Argentina team was like. Once I saw the celebrations, obviously, like they all ran towards him, like and just picked Messi up straight away. As soon as the whistle was gone, they just picked him up and just was like throwing him about the pitch. And
yeah,
it's
but I
like
think that that's because they know what it means to him, innit?
yeah, but it was mad to watch it because like they ran towards him like as if he was the gaffer. I don't know if it like, do you know what I mean? Because obviously I know he's a legendary player,
That's
but
because he
they
is the
like
gaffer, isn't it? But
yeah, but the way that they all
yeah,
like bombarded him, like it's Messi, and they started singing his song, and I was like, bro, these are like proper, like obviously I know that they love him, but it's good to see like your teammates actually like treat you like that because you know sometimes you could be in teams and things like that can happen where you might not like this person and you might not like that person and people don't like to show their admiration for their colleagues sometimes and
I think it was just the
it,
emotion, though, man. I think I'm only talking for me. I'm not talking for you two, but I just think that's got to be like you said, that's like the Euros equivalent. So imagine, sorry to go back to the final, but imagine like England winning it yesterday. I think it would have been exactly the same. I think it would have been nice to see that, but I think for Messi as well, because he hasn't really had that feeling of winning a trophy with Argentina, that must have been like euphoric for the whole country, not even just the
yeah,
team.
and do you know what I think is good with him as well? Obviously he turns up in every tournament anyway, so that's never a debate. But he got 4 goals, 4 assists this tournament, didn't he? And so it's
Mhm.
not like he weren't a
he wasn't
passenger
a
in this
passenger.
team.
Yeah, yeah.
No, he's still the main cog, even at 34 years old.
But
So, and
he's gifted, man. World class, gifted,
different.
talented, all of that.
He's
Yeah,
different, man.
different levels.
It's different level.
I think I agree with you. I think when I watch Argentina play, when I watch them play over the years, they remind me of the way that the Welsh players look at Bale and he all step it up like an extra 10. Like, Argentina got good players anyway, but I see like when they play, it's like, yeah, it's almost like they're getting the approval from did I do good line or was that okay? Like did that chip, like would you have done it like that kind of thing? And then I've also as well, when you look at the history of Argentina, they've lost the World Cup final. Um, they've lost a couple of Copa America finals as well. They've got like they've had the trauma, like, do you know what I mean? Like they've had
Yeah.
hard times, yeah.
I think
So
that's
I can
why it was
understand the
so,
emotion, just
of
poured
course.
No,
out because
I
them man are
understand
sick of losing.
Yeah, no, I understand the emotion. It
Yeah,
was just
so
good to see it as well. That's what I meant.
yeah,
Like it was just
yeah,
like,
100.
oh, like it just looked crazy to the way that they just ran towards him straight away. It's like they didn't even celebrate with each other first. They just all ran towards
It's
him.
on, yeah.
But
To,
even
to
that,
be
it was
fair,
crazy.
go on, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it was crazy to think that that's their first trophy since 1993. Like so, our whole lifetime, all of these great players we've seen play for Argentina, Batistuta, Crespo, Ayala,
Nada.
Ortega, Veron, Simeone,
They've
all
had
these
some
guys,
ballers, man.
Riquelme, Cambiaso, that team. You think of all these players, Aguero, Tevez as well, and this is their first trophy in our lifetime of watching football. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's true, man.
Yeah. They
Like,
earn it though. They would have on the day they were the best team. I think
Definitely.
there's loads of comments about Martinez, who obviously I don't know why Arsenal let him go for Leno, but he's been phenomenal all tournament. But Argentina, to be fair, I thought Richarlison actually had a good game. Like I know like he had a couple of
say
bad
it again,
touches.
cuz.
No, he had a good, but so did Pickford. Like, listen, I'm not one of these stubborn guys like
No, he
Suno's
had a
was
good
like,
game.
I
I was just
hate
like,
Pogba, and that's the
No,
end.
I
That's
know.
it.
I'm
no,
messing. No, I'm messing. I'm messing.
no. He had a good game. He had a good game. I
No,
was
you
just
don't believe.
laughing at that
You don't
one.
really believe it. No, I'm joking.
You can
No,
hear
he
his
had
voice, said it.
He's like, yeah,
it was just a
gonna take over
touch. It was
Everton and
just
sell him for 5 million now.
when he took the touch away and missed it. I just thought how typical. But
Yeah.
no, it's funny because he had his hair was dyed the same color as Neymar, in it. So because when I was tired, yeah, like
Man,
I was
sounding like
getting a
Graham
bit.
Souness over there.
No, wait. So because there's a moment when I got them mixed up here, and I saw like the
What the
control. Then he
sounds like
kicked. Wait. So because it wasn't him, it was Neymar, yeah, but he controlled it, then flicked over someone's head. I was like, that can't be Richarlison. And then when I saw the replay, it was Neymar in it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I knew it wasn't him.
Oh shit,
Oh,
man.
he must have been
But
tired. Yeah.
no, I was shattered. But yeah, man, it was
Yeah. No,
well deserved result, and it's good. You know what? In reality, like what Theo said at the start, yeah, I think it's really good that someone of his caliber actually has an international trophy to his name, man, because he deserves it, man.
It would have been a shame for him not to get that at all. Do you know what I mean? He's club
Yeah.
level, domestic. He's done. I think he's done it all, hasn't he? So
Yeah, man, he deserves it, man. It's great
he
for him,
needs.
man.
He needed.
I'm
He
happy
needed
for
that
him.
last one.
It would have been a shame. It would have been a shame for him to have not like got that because you know there's some silly people that think, oh, can he be considered one of the greats if he does? He's
No,
done
he
enough
is, man.
already,
He is.
but that would just close that bit
Is that ice
of
then,
that
innit?
debate.
Is that ice?
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, we'll see where he ends up next season. But obviously, I think we'll touch on all that kind of stuff in the next couple of weeks on the podcast.
definitely
So
will.
Yeah, man. 100%.
Cool. Well, obviously that feels like a wrap. So ended on a positive note. So a few man switching allegiances to sort of the South American Dons because it's a bit closer to home. Then obviously you can look no further than Argentina and Brazil for the next tournament next year. But no, obviously, it's a shame. I was saying earlier actually to someone that it would have been great to have seen what the celebrations would have been like. Like that's one thing I'd love to happen in my lifetime. Like just for England to win an international tournament and just be around for them celebrations. Not so old that I can't even get out of my chair or, do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
man,
young
100%.
enough where you can go and be a part of it and everything. So obviously, the way it's looking, the way that history dictates is if you've got the experience of getting to the semis and the final, then it's gonna happen, isn't it? So don't put away that it's coming home banners yet. Keep them for next year. Yeah, put them somewhere safe. Yeah, get them back out, dust off those England flags. Yeah, but take out the Jamaica ones for now because it's Gold Cup time, son.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
obviously for everyone, obviously thank you for listening. Make sure you check out the Gold Cup. I think it started yesterday or the day before. But yeah, come on, reggae boys, you can do it.
first game tonight.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
half
in
11.
a couple of hours. Yeah. So, but yeah, obviously, thank you for joining us live. Check us out on Twitter at Play to the Whistle No, what is it now?
It's at the bottom of the banner. That's why I put it there for you,
I
man.
messed it up at the PTTW
The prompts
podcast.
there.
Although I failed, that's it. Never going to be on the TV now.
At
But
least
yeah,
it
check
wasn't
us.
me that done it this time, man.
No, you did the beginning of the episode, didn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for joining us. 50th episode. We were hoping it was going to be a bit of a better news for England, but never mind. And yeah, join us soon. We'll be back live again to talk about all things Barca, Prem, Gold Cup, hopefully. So yeah, thanks for listening and watching.